this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we're doing fractions and we're doing our challenge questions. So hopefully you have mastered all of the lessons that we've been going through for fractions, because these questions that we're doing today aren't your standard questions. They will make you think a little bit. You might have to combine a few of the things that we've learnt in a bit of an unfamiliar way. But for those of you who like a bit of a challenge, then this lesson is for you today. So let's get stuck into these questions. Question number 1. Adam and Talia have a box of 20 chocolates. If they eat 3/4 of the chocolates and Adam eats twice as many as Talia, how many will each child eat? Well, first of all, we need to work out how many chocolates get eaten. So 3/4 of the chocolates get eaten. So let's find 3/4 of 20. Okay, so we need to put the 20 over 1 to make it a fraction. And then we want to work this out so we can simplify. We can divide by 4 with the 20 there, which will give me a 1 and a 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 1 is 1 on the bottom, but that doesn't need to be written there. So 15 chocolates are eaten. Now, for the second part of the question, it says Adam eats twice as many as Talia. So if we think of Adam as eating 2 shares and Talia as only eating 1 share, altogether they're eating 3 shares. So if I divide this number by 3, that gives me 5 chocolates. Okay, so that means that Adam, who eats 2 shares, he will eat 2 lots of that, which is 10 chocolates. Talia, who only eats 1 share, will eat 5 chocolates. So altogether, that's the 15 chocolates that get eaten. Okay, question 2. Write 3 fractions between 2/7 and 3/5. To do that, the easiest thing to do is to write those 2 fractions with a common denominator. So 7 and 5, the common denominator would be 35. So this fraction I have to times by 5. So timesing 2 by 5, I get 10. This fraction has been multiplied by 7. So 3 times 7 is 21. So I need to find any 3 fractions, there's actually quite a few you can choose from there, between 10 on 35 and 21 on 35. So I could choose 11 on 35, or 12 on 35, or 13 on 35, anything up to 21. So maybe I'll pick 18 on 35 and 20 on 35. Okay? But you could choose any number between 10 and 21, so between 11 and 20, any 3 numbers to get the correct answer there. For question 3, it says, a petrol drum was 2/5 full. 4 litres of fuel is added to the container and it's now half full. How much fuel can the container hold? Well, what we can do is we can work out how much the petrol drum has been filled up by. So what I will do is I will take half and subtract off the 2/5 that was in there to begin with. All right, so I will need a common denominator, which will be 10. This fraction times by 5 will be 5 here. This fraction times by 2 will be 4. 5 minus 4 is 1/10. So by going from 2/5 full to half full, we've only filled the petrol drum an extra 1/10. So 1/10 of the petrol drum has been filled up. So that means that 1/10 of the drum holds 4 litres. Because that's how much petrol they put in there to make it go up that amount. So if 1/10 of the drum holds 4 litres, all I have to do is go 4 times 10, because I'd have 10 times that to have the full drum, which is 40 litres is the full amount that the drum would hold. Okay, and our last question, question 4. There is 10.5 litres of petrol in the car's tank. If the car uses 1 2/5 litres of petrol to travel 10 kilometres, how far can the car travel on the remaining fuel? All right, let's see how many lots of 1 2/5 fit into the 10.5. So we want to take 10.5 and we want to divide it by 1 2/5, because that tells us how many lots of 10 kilometers we're going to get to travel. So to divide those numbers, we need to turn these into improper fractions. So this would be 21 on 2 divided by, that times that plus that is 7 over 5. Then we turn our divide into a times, turn the fraction upside down, and cancel out. So 21 and 7, we can divide by 7 to get 3 and 1. Multiplying what is left, we'll get 3 times 5 is 15 over 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So that is 15 over 2, or how many 2's fit into 15? It goes 7 times with a remainder of 1. So 7.5. Or you could also think of that as 7.5. Okay, so 7.5 lots of this are in the 10.5 litres. Okay, so we will get to go 7.5 lots of 10 kilometres, that means, because for every one of these, we can travel 10 kilometres. So all we need to do is take this 7.5 that we've worked out and we times that by 10 kilometres, which means times it by 10, move the decimal point over, we can travel 75 kilometres. Okay, so on the 10.5 litres of petrol that we have left, we can travel 75 kilometres. That's the end of this section of work on fractions, the end of our chapter. And join me next time for a new lesson, a new chapter. Keep practicing, and I'll see you then. Bye.